Thank you. The question is that grievances be noted, and I call the honourable member for Braddon.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I want to take this chamber on a brief journey in the time I have available. A tour that encompasses rugged coastline, unspoilt beaches, penguin rookeries dotted along the coast, cool climate wines, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blancs, fine food, Cape Grim beef, Mount Noman pork, Tasmanian scallops, fresh crayfish, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries with King Island cream, and of course the home of Tasmania's world-class salmon and ocean trout. Sounds good, doesn't it, Mr Deputy Speaker? A tour that covers 110 kilometres of coastline and rivers that connects 20 communities. A tour where you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and your family and friends can load your bikes on the Spirit of Tasmania in Melbourne, arrive in Devonport, my hometown, and ride off to your heart's content in any direction. Or a tour where you can simply walk a short way and take yourself to a different place. A tour that is a shared pathway where cyclists and walkers can equally access all that is to offer in my region. This is the vision and experience that is waiting to be developed on the northwest coast of Tasmania, a vision that will see this region become one of Australia's top cycling tourism destinations, a vision that is supported by the local regional authority, the Cradle Coast Authority, and the community through the Coastal Pathways Coalition. The Cradle Coast Authority is the regional voice for northwest Tasmania as well as the West Coast and King Island. Its membership consists of the 9 local government councils to represent and advocate the needs of the region. The authority collaborates and facilitates a diverse range of projects and initiatives involving all tiers of government, industry and the community. Its 3 areas of focus are regional economic development, natural resource management and tourism. The North West Coastal Pathways project supports all 3 of these focus areas. The Cradle Coast Authority has made this one of its key priorities, only behind the Cradle Mountain Master Plan. The Coastal Pathways Coalition is led by a group of cyclists, Andrew Leary and Ben Kearney from Turners Beach, and supported by Keith Price from Burnie on behalf of Safer Roads for Cyclists. Keith, Ben and Andrew have been tireless in their work to see their vision become a reality. The draft Tasmanian Government's Cycle Tourism Strategic Action Plan to 2020 has been developed to generate more demand for travel to Tasmania through cycle tourism. Following the development of Labor's federally funded Blue Derby Trails in northeast Tasmania, which I must add is extremely successful, there has been significant growth in Tasmanian cycle tourism. The Tasmanian Visitor Survey for the year to June 2016 showed 39,000 interstate and overseas visitors undertook some form of cycling activity for that year, an increase of 41% from the year before. This increase shows the appetite for cycle tourism and latent demand. The same strategic action plan states that cycle tourists are generally higher yield visitors that spend more and travel more widely throughout the state. The average length of stay for a cycling tourist is 17 nights, well above the average of 9 nights as stated by Tourism Tasmania. And this plan sets out 3 priority areas: consolidating trails and routes, marketing what we have, providing the supporting infrastructure and services to provide the right experience once cycle tourists arrive. The Cradle Coast Authority has developed an investment prospectus to support the Coastal Pathways project. The prospectus identifies multiple economic and social opportunities for my region, such as an increase in a new economic activity for local businesses, creating 90 full-time equivalent jobs during construction, a flow-on effect translating to an extra $38.6 million of economic output, and post-construction, an extra $17 million per annum injected into the local economy. That translates to 97 new and ongoing full-time equivalent jobs. The northwest coast of Tasmania unfortunately has some of the worst health indicators in Australia and Tasmania. People are at high risk of fair to poor health, have high indices of heart disease, more likely to be obese, and as previous reports have stated, 71% of the northwest coast Tasmanians are not undertaking 30 minutes exercise per day, which is contributing to poor health outcomes. The Shared Coastal Pathway goes some way to addressing these health issues by promoting a locally active and healthy lifestyle. The project has social benefits such as connecting communities. One only has to look at the state and federal Labor's funding of the Ulverstone to Turners Beach Shared Pathway. It has connected these communities, encouraged people to walk and cycle, businesses have grown and new jobs created. And it's quite funny that the previous speaker spoke about the government not creating jobs, but this is government money actually creating jobs. It's quite amazing. The Cradle Coast Authority has identified 5 key sections of the shared pathway: Burnie to Wynyard, Sulphur Creek to Ulverstone, Fourth Rail Bridge reuse, Turners Beach to Devonport, Devonport to Latrobe to Port Sorell. Within each section there are 15 priority stages. Cradle Coast has identified 5 short-term priority sectors that are right now ready to proceed. For each of these sectors, the relevant local council has allocated funding in their budgets. There we go, government funding to create jobs. They're ready to go. So what have the Liberals done? I have to say some credit is due to the Tasmanian government for its work in developing the draft Cycle Tourism Strategic Action Plan and legislation to free up disused rail corridors. Although I do note comments on the draft plan closed in February of this year, and almost 4 months later no final report has been produced. In February of this year, the Premier heard the case for the project from the Coastal Pathway Coalition, the Cradle Coast Authority CEO and Bicycle Network Tasmania CEO. Only last week the state Liberal government handed down their budget. But for reasons best known to them, not a single stage of this project was funded. This is despite the Premier's own plan, stating developing and supporting infrastructure is a priority for cycling tourism. A number of local state Liberal MPs in my electorate also claim to support this vision, but their words have not been matched with actions. At a federal level, the former member for Braddon was presented with an investment document by the Cradle Coast Authority. He also attended the single biggest public meeting held throughout last year's election campaign and organised by the Coastal Pathways Coalition to promote this vision. Some 120 people attended to show their support, but sadly the coalition did not commit 1 cent to this vision over the campaign period or since. Even worse, following the election, they knocked back Stronger Regions applications from the Burnie City Council and Waratah Wynyard Councils to connect their communities. And in a triple whammy, they backed it up with their budget earlier this month, providing nothing for this project. Nothing in the campaign, knocking back funding applications, nothing in the budget. What has Labor done? That is a question I'm sure the other side are asking. Labor can proudly say it gets it. It gets this project. Labor understands the social and economic benefit that cycling, tourism and shared pathways can bring. Labor funded the Blue Derby Trails in northeast Tasmania, and Labor has funded every piece of shared pathway infrastructure in my electorate. During the federal election campaign, along with my colleague, the now member for Lyons, we have made several funding announcements. Labor said it would fund the Devonport to Latrobe section, the Burnie CBD section, the Coogee to Wynyard section, the Devonport to Port Sorell section. Over $6 million were committed by Labor in the last federal election. And since the election, I've hosted the Shadow Minister for Regional Services in my electorate, and he has been briefed by the Coastal Pathways Coalition and the Cradle Coast Authority. Unlike those opposite, I am pleased to say the Shadow Minister gets it too. But Mr Deputy Speaker, I take you back to my earlier remarks. Fine food, fine wine, a magnificent coastline. This journey is ready for all. It can be walked or cycled, in short trips, stages or overnight. I say to those opposite at a state and federal level, this project truly can transform my region, create lots of jobs, as I've already said, and help connect those communities. The social and economic benefits are too strong to be ignored. The coalition, I say to you, you can be part of something that can really bring about change. So join with Labor and come on the journey. Thank you.